Hello, peeps and hello, peppers, and welcome to Film Friday. If you've never been here, hello, stranger. It's great to have you here. My name is Frida Martins. I am an artist with multiple disabilities from Germany, living in Iceland. On Fridays, I'm always trying to retell a film that I like with tarot cards as story prompts. And I think this is my first Film Friday with a full blown, professionally printed Dream Diver Puffin Tarot that I drew myself. So, of course, today I have 5 cards and a moon because I'm doing, can you guess it? The fifth element. I still remember that I watched this film because I was like invited to a birthday party where this was the theme. We were going to the movies together, like with actually a girl who I didn't know that well, but she was so nice. So, the film The Fifth Element is, of course, a science fiction comedy by Luc Besson, who is otherwise also, for instance, known for Valerian, that totally overwhelms me, and The Adventures of Adele Blanc-Sec, which is, I think, also a graphic novel. I have to check that out. And of course, like, there is a lot of stuff in the science fiction movie that can fly. Such as the taxis can fly. And the taxis are like American yellow cabs, but they are sort of like working like UFOs because the people live in buildings that are like several kilometers high, and then the flighted cars can actually dive down, sort of like a puffins hunting for food. I get really dizzy when I watch this. And yeah, let's say ballroom dancing is usually uh, very conventional. So obviously, let's say this future where Bruce Willis drives one of these flying taxis, and Mila Jovovich is the magic lady with the orange hair, uh, symbolizing the fifth element that is like sent to save the world. Um, yeah, they both end up in chaos, but they are sort of like in a dance, very much bound to conventions, judged all over the place. Like when the basically half naked fifth element just broke out of the laboratory, and like where the scientists were like gazing at her like there was no tomorrow. She is like cornered by like another flying vehicle where they scan her face, and she's so scared, and the only comment is she has no file, so they can't assess her anything. But hey, the taxi driver Corbin Dallas, aka Bruce Willis, is helping, even though that endangers his job and his future. That future is dire anyway, with a mother who thinks he basically only exists for her because she birthed him, and that's why he has to do everything that she thinks and has to obey to her every whim. And you never see her; you just hear her as a nasty voice on the telephone. And actually, he gets 10 out of 10 points from me for helping the mysterious lady with the orange hair. And yeah, there is actually also a scene where later he has to appear in sort of a ballroom with a suit for a concert, and some robot brings him a whole selection of suits. That was kind of fun and interesting. The fifth element in herself is, of course, somewhat magic, but there is no like magic wand. There are actually like really curious high-tech weapons. And like interestingly, this was filmed when the internet was at best something that few people had, and like the snail mail still came through a futuristic pipe on see-through plastic sheets. Death is, of course, impending because there is a something like an intelligent asteroid heading for Earth. Yeah, like this really evil ball. And I find it interesting, like that was 1997 or something. Like at that point, let's say at least European people didn't know yet who Barack Obama was. So I think it was sort of revolutionary to have a black president, and he was the president of the United Territories. So all countries basically joined hands in this chaotic future, which is per se a really good thing, but like pointless when you have a huge asteroid heading for the whole Earth. And Mr. Zorg can, for some unexplained reason, control it. Like Mr. Zorg is the bad guy, played by a very young-looking Gary Oldman. And then actually the fifth element, named Lilu, debates with herself if the world is worth saving when people do so much crap with it. But in the end, where like Lilu is very weak because she fought all the stinky, ugly, bad creatures, there is a really exciting, still comedic looking way of reuniting the five elements, and then yeah, the souls can fly and the people can be saved, and this strange asteroid freezes. But okay, is that spoiling the movie? Well, I guess the people who watch this video, they have already seen the movie and are just curious how to retell it with these particular puffin cards. Yes, there are a lot of really odd weapons being polished. Like, I think one of my favorite scenes in terms of absurdity is this drug addict having this like gun with spikes on. Like, okay, that has to be seen to be believed, and that is already in itself a reason to watch the movie. Also, how Bruce Willis tricks this guy into being caught by the police, because yeah, of course the police wants to catch him because he helped the fifth element, because the police don't know yet what kind of a hero and miracle the fifth element is. Yeah, Nine of Cups also always means celebrating something. Yeah, here we have the diving puffins. Now that I began to talk about them, I think this is called manifesting. So yes, actually, this, now that we have the puffins diving like the flying taxis, this part also reminds me a little bit of the people who are already celebrating the victory over the asteroid, when someone, I forgot how that went, phones them to tell them, okay, this blah 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 is not working. Okay, there you really have to watch the movie, but let's say sometimes I forgot small scenes and small things, but I never forget the feeling that this film gives me. And actually, it gives me hope, it gives me humor. And actually, this could be Mr. Zorg, because he is always like really dressed according to the fashion. I am still a little bit pissed that they portrayed him with a limp, because that doesn't actually contribute a lot of things to the story in itself. Okay, and here now you can see my wonderful comfy trousers. Because, of course, this is an old heritage from film history. Pentacles always mean something with richness, and that, like, in silent films, you somehow had to show that someone was the evil guy, and that was often shown by giving the evil guy a physical disability. And I haven't made this up. This is like in a book that I now forget the title of, but the writer is called Martin Norden. And actually really interesting, really worrisome. And yes, please, let's mind that the limp of Mr. Zorg doesn't contribute anything to the context, except for that, like, Vito Cornelius, the good guy, the priest who knows actually what the fifth element is. Here we have also like 4 elements and no fifth. He recognizes Mr. Zorg. I don't know if Mr. Zorg is a doctor, but Zorg is anyway just recognized by this limp. And I find that really strange. And it is not explained why he, of all people, can control the asteroid, but he is very, very rich, he is very pointless, and he promises Vito Cornelius to spare his life. I don't know how to, that is not explained either. Let's say many things in this movie actually seem to lack a relatively deep explanation, but it's great imagination. I think it can tell us a lot about the male gaze, about like how most men at some point objectify women. Even Bruce Willis, who is like actually a really good and also a little bit desperate guy in this movie because of this strange relation with his mother. He says, well, Lilu is just perfect. But then we should maybe keep in mind that actually nobody is perfect, and it was an excellent point that even though Lilu is perfect, she is vulnerable, and she needs Corbin Dallas, aka Bruce Willis. And she needs friends. She needs like this whole team to assemble the 4 elements. And where are the stones? Yeah, if you want to know where the stones are, and because they are a little bit in a very unexpected bloody place. Watch the movie. Watch it also like as a child of its time. Don't take everything literal. But I would wish you that you can take some hope with you when you're done watching it. Bye bye.